You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of sound. A dimension of sight. A dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You've just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
You alright, mate?
Yeah, not bad.
What you been up to then?
Not a great deal, I don't think. Been doing walks. I tell you what, actually, there's been a twist in our social lives. Soul Calibur.
Brilliant. Cheers for bringing that up. I thought you were going to put up the fact that we could finally see each other.
Oh, yeah, there's that as well. Yeah,
in a
stuff
limited
first.
setting, but the important stuff first. Soul Calibur. Yeah. Oh.
It's nice to be on the other side of the fence for once.
A couple of weeks ago, it was me kicking your ass, and now it's you kicking my ass, and I can't even win a round at the minute, let alone a fight. Don't know what's going on, mate. Don't know what's going on.
But yeah, you said seeing each other. So yeah, obviously we can now see people from other households.
I mean, there's still restrictions, isn't there? But it's
No,
but it's a step in the right direction.
It's sort of hard to say it's lockdown. Do you know what I mean? It's lockdown for shops and things like that, but I can't. People-wise, it seems like it's lockdown's a very strong word for unlimited exercise, unlimited time outdoors, and seeing other people.
How easy is it to sit on your arse
and do fuck all?
and just
so
literally
easy.
watch bloody Blue Planet on repeat, like eating a bag of Doritos? It's just easy. It's so easy. I was saying to you when I saw it, like, do you know, I must have watched about 100. I'm not even joking. I must have watched about 100 episodes of Catfish, right? And it's pure shit. Don't get me wrong. It's pure trash, but it's entertaining trash. But it's just so.
I remember
it's so easy to waste your time.
Do you know when you used to get time in college? And I don't want to say 6 weeks holiday, but it might have been.
Yeah, I think the summer holidays are 6 weeks.
Yeah. And was there a break similar in college when we was at college? They had summer breaks.
Must have done.
Yeah,
must have done.
But I remember like a distinctive time of my life where, and this is before my metabolism started dropping. Okay, because I ate like a pig. Right, I'm naturally skinny, but I was eating like yeah. Well, I can't 100% say that now, but certainly growing up I was.
Got any evidence?
And I ate like a pig, right? And my mum was always saying to me, if you keep eating like that, you're gonna get fat, right? And I was like, no. I mean, when I say like eating like that, I mean I'd make a pizza for myself, right? Microwave, obviously, microwave pizza, and on top of that, I'd have microwave curry and just pour it on top, right?
That sounds fucking disgusting.
And
oh my god.
And
seriously,
yeah. Next to that, I'd have a garlic bread.
Microwave curry.
Yeah.
So you'd have like a pepperoni pizza with chicken tikka masala on top.
Next to a garlic bread.
God, that sounds disgusting. I love curry, I love pizza, but together, I've not tried it, mate. It could be, you could be onto something there.
And I remember I was sitting there distinctly, right, feet up on the sofa, right, laying out there for 6 weeks, watching back-to-back Jeremy Coles. Like, with this food, this, like, mash food I've made. And I remember, like, I was like that. I was just, like, fucking wasting my life. But at that time, I was loving it because I was like, oh, there's no... But that's, like, the last option for me now. I'm so past all that relaxing type thing. I just want to get out there now.
Yeah, I mean, it is nice to have this spare time in it. Like, I was talking to Vanessa the other day, and I was just saying, like, who'd have thought? Because before, like, I wasn't really seeing her during the week. I never really saw her. I'd wake up in the morning for work, and she's already at the hospital. I'll come home from work, and it'll be 7:30, and we'll have dinner, and then it's time for bed. So I was saying to her, who would have thought we'd have had this much spare time together? And now we're driving each other crazy. But it's like, it's mad to think that if someone would have said to us, oh yeah, you're going to get, half a year of time inside your house, like, you'd be like, what? It's mad, isn't it?
I still can't believe that people have got time off work, are getting paid for it, not full pay, obviously, but the majority of pay, and they're allowed to spend 6 hours on Call of Duty,
But if you can, mate, I mean,
No,
fair play
yeah,
if you
yeah.
can. If you're getting paid to play COD, but it's
Yeah, I mean, like I said, no disrespect to those people. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying
No,
like
no,
it's just
yeah.
a weird time. That's sort of
Mad.
the mentality in it.
It's
like,
mad.
oh, do work.
no, yeah, literally getting paid to play Call of Duty.
Yeah, yeah.
It's mental. It's mental.
People's dreams. At
But
one
it's
point. Speaking of life and the future, okay,
yeah.
we're gonna get into the crux of a main conspiracy for this episode, right? That we're living in a simulation. The idea that
Living in a simulation.
this that the choices we make and sort of the life we live is all sort of run by people and computers and things like that, and that we're all sitting in pods somewhere living these dreams, living these lives. I suppose it comes from it probably comes from the Matrix, people watching the Matrix too much, but what's your thoughts on that then? The idea, it's quite a common conspiracy to think that we're all living in a simulation. Do you think there's anything behind it?
I mean,
I feel like it's something that we would make up as human beings.
I think if it is true, then I need to have a word with them, because they could be doing a lot more for me in a minute. No, it's weird, It's the concept of that is pretty terrifying. Have you ever seen The Truman Show?
Yeah.
Okay, it sounds like that. It sounds a lot like that. They create this whole fake life for him, and
Well, I mean, the fact that what makes me feel like it's quite a realistic possibility is the fact that CGI, filming, technology, games, feedback, all that sort of stuff. It's like if you was to go forward, just say 20 years, right? I don't think film, make believe, like CGI and gaming, you'll be able to tell the difference between real life and that. And what makes me think, it's no different than sticking on your headset. I feel like it's something that we could really easily come up with as human beings in the future, and which makes me feel like it's something that a species would do. Do you see what I mean? Like, so we could be those subjects in there, not even know.
But this is it. I mean, I guess anything's possible, isn't it? Like, we will never know until it comes. It comes to Judgment Day. We'll never really know if that's true. I mean, the concept is absolutely terrifying. Where does it end, though, as well?
Well, maybe that's what death is. Maybe death is the end of the simulation.
Well, and then
you wake up and you've lived life and you experienced life and you're a better person and you live life in that life properly.
What? And in that life, I'm actually quite good at Soul Calibur.
In that life, I've got a bigger penis.
Yeah, it's massive in that life.
Yeah, I've got a full head of hair in that one.
I don't know, mate. I mean, that's not something I believe. But just because I don't believe it, obviously, doesn't mean it's not possible. Like, it could be real. I pray to God it's not real. Because if all this is fake,
yeah, you don't feel like the motorways that you see when you travel to London could be all made up by a computer for your eyes to look at.
It could, like, technically speaking, obviously, it could be. That could be the case. I think there's some experiences in life which feel far too real to be simulated. I was gonna sound so cheesy.
Love,
but like
butterflies.
Literally, being in love with someone, or like one of the happiest moments of your life.
What's love?
Like, for me, for me, mate, as you know, the happiest moment in my life is when I packed the base set Charizard as a child. And mate, that's pure happiness you can't fake. But no, I think there's some experiences in life that are so real to me, at least the way I've experienced them, like, they can't be fake. But then again, films have made me cry. I've seen some films and they've had me in tears because they've upset me so much, made me so happy, and obviously those films aren't real. They're technically a simulation, aren't they? It's a story that we're experiencing. So this theory could be real, and the concept is terrifying. I don't think I'd like to think that that's not real, and I'd like to think.
Do you feel like it's possible? If someone said to you in 50 years' time, you'll be able to sit in a chair, and you'll be able to go into a different world like Inception, and you won't know the difference.
Like Ready Player One.
Yeah, but except you don't know it's a video game. You get shot. You feel like you're getting shot. You step on a stinger nettle. You get stung by a stinger nettle. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
If someone said to you, you go into this game, and you don't know it's a game.
So like Westworld, where people go on holiday to this.
Yeah, except the conscious knowing of you being in there isn't there, so you don't know you're in there.
Mm.
You've made a decision before you go in there that you're aware of.
Yeah, yeah.
Or when
yeah.
you're in there, you don't know. Do you reckon?
I mean
If someone
that could be a big escape for some people. So I mean, the concept of it is amazing. It terrifies me. It really does terrify me. I mean, and I don't want to go off into a tangent really quick, but for me, like that's where I think the games industry wants to head as well. Look at all of the VR stuff they're trying to introduce now, and they still haven't quite hit the nail on the head with that, because you still get like motion sickness and you're playing a game kind of thing. But I think that's where they want to head. They want to head into that fully simulated escape, and I don't want that to happen. I think people trying to escape from real life and run away from real life way too much. I think people need to confront things more than they do.
Yeah.
I definitely could do that a lot more as well. So it's easy for me to say that, but I mean, I could definitely confront a lot more in my life. But I definitely I think that's where things are headed, without a doubt. All jokes aside, something like Westworld, if someone's not seen Westworld, it's basically a series about people that go on holiday into this simulated Wild West place, and it's like it's so real, the people are real, and you really experience things, and that's where I definitely think as a species we're heading in the future. In 100 years' time, everything you're saying I think is going to be available. I don't want that.
So how do you know that you're not already in it?
That's the thing, we don't, mate. We don't. We have no clue. And like you say, we could drop dead and we wake up in some vat in some spaceship in bloody Pluto.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is it, mate. I mean, it depends how far you want to think about things, because I believe that man landed on the moon, but where's the proof? Where's a photo of it?
Christ.
Alright.
Different episode for that one.
No, but I'm saying, but that's just an example of this whole world could be simulated, because we don't know. We've never crossed that barrier. We've not got into a rocket and seen what's past the clouds. We've been in a plane, but how do you know all that's not simulated?
Well, it's funny because people believe when they go on airplanes that some people believe that when you go to a different country to travel, that the airplane is like a loading time to load the next, area, basically.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's like and to be honest, I don't blame anyone for believing things they can't see, like for not believing in things they can't see, but a case of this is flat earthers, right? People who believe the earth is flat, right? And they're doing it on the basis that they believe that pictures they see online have all been fabricated, or they're just pictures, because they are pictures. Pictures aren't proof. Pictures are pictures, right? And the fact that they're just judging their beliefs on what they can see physically with their eyes, right? I have never seen the earth. I've never seen anything that I walk across. I don't see the earth as being round or anything. But then again, I don't have the distance to see it being round. But at the same time, surely we should believe what we see. So I completely understand where these people come from. That they're judging all their beliefs on what they've felt, what they can see, and it's not the majority. But I don't really care about that, personally. But I can understand why people believe certain things and other people don't. There's a majority which believe in things they just they I think a lot of people follow the crowd in opinions. If they feel like they're going to get scrutinised on an opinion, they tend to follow the easiest route, which obviously isn't right, but some people stand up for things more than others as well. But that's a different story. But
yeah, I mean, so as you know, I'm naturally quite a sceptical person.
yeah,
and it depends how you want to look at that. it could be seen as being negative, and I mean, I'd like to think I'm not, but I know I definitely can be quite a negative person. But naturally, I'm skeptical. So to me, if you want to convince me that God's real, show me, or at least let me experience God. Same with the chat we had about ghosts last week. It's like, of course I don't know if ghosts are real, but I don't believe, but I don't know for certain, and I won't believe until I see it. And same with this simulation thing. It's like, I'd like to think we're not in a simulation, but it's not beyond the realms of possibility. I pray to God it's not.
Yeah.
But if it is, mate, if it is, I've had a good time as well. I've had a good time. And hopefully plenty more years to come.
I wonder if they put in settings when you're sitting in this pod. They put in, right, this person's going to experience a horror. And they put the fucking buttons in, and you're sitting there, and this bloke has a shit life. Right? This person is having the shittest life possible. And then there's like, this person's going to be like fucking president, or saying like, I wonder if they do all that shit. I don't know. Maybe it is like that. It would be interesting to think that when you get born, that they know who you're going to be, like your characteristics. This person ends up being a criminal, so we're going to make him less of a criminal in the simulation to make him come out as a better person, all this sort of thing. I wonder if they do that sort of thing. They can, like this genetics idea. They can tell when a baby has Down syndrome or whatever it is, or deformities, or ends up having Alzheimer's, all this sort of stuff. They can tell this sort of thing now, I think. It wouldn't be a stretch to think that they can tell personality traits. And so you'd sit in this pod.
Of course, without a doubt. Would you want to know if
I was in a simulation?
Yeah, would you want to know?
I don't know.
If you had a choice.
I feel like if the sort of cloak came off and you realised that even people like you and your family, your cat, the thing you're looking at yourself in the mirror are all made up, I don't know whether I'd jump off a building to kill myself or whether I'd go on a mass murder spree to see what would happen. It'd be like one of the two. Like, if you wouldn't eat, would you? You wouldn't drink, you wouldn't eat. You'd be like, well, because your face wouldn't be real, would it?
I mean,
it would be weird to think that everything that you're doing, touching, feeling,
isn't real. Which is why when you ask me, do I think it's real? I said no, because I think there's some things in life that we experience that are so real, and you really, really feel it. That for me, there's some things you can't fake. There's some things I don't think you can fake. So go on then. So what do you believe though? Black and white. Do you believe this is a simulation?
No.
And also, after my question, yes or no, would you want to know if it was?
No.
For once, we're on the same page for everything.
I don't think the problem with knowing is the idea that you'd just.
It would drive you insane.
It would
drive you crazy.
It'd be like having, for me, it'd be like having next level sleep paralysis, where you know you're in it, but you can't get out. So you try and find the door out. That's what it feels like when you have sleep paralysis. You know you're in it, you're fucked, and you're trying to get out. That's literally what if that was the realization. You're in a simulation, find the door to get out. You'd end up being like Juggernaut or something, walking through walls like yeah. You'd be trying to get out, wouldn't you? You'd be like, how the fuck do I get out of this like dream I'm in? Like, where's the exit? And it'd be like, it would literally turn into like a Matrix. Like, you have people looking at you like, oh my god, he knows it's a simulation. We've got to try and, I don't know, like, weird.
So, out of 1 to 5, how believable do you think it is? 5 being it's true and 1 being it's a load of shit. That's bollocks, Mark.
I honestly think
that's 1.
I think it's probably the most believable. Out of if we're going to talk about, like, so this season's obviously about conspiracies. I honestly think out of everything we're going to talk about, a simulation is the most believable option for future, for the idea of conspiracies.
Yeah.
Because if you look at where we are today, and you was to predict, if you didn't talk about this conspiracy theory, and you ask someone, in 50 years, what do you think gaming's going to be? They'd be like, oh, maybe it's like you don't know it's real life. Everything like it'd be like the next level of Skyrim. It'd be like it's a world and I've made it myself and I don't even know I'm in it. It's so immersive. People talk to me. The AI is responsive, and like people would say that sort of thing if you ask them the question. 50 years, which isn't a long time. I mean, computers have barely been around 20 years. But you'd be like, okay, where do you think you're going to be? I think we're going to be here. Most people would say that sort of answer, right? So I don't think it's a push to believe that what I'm looking at, what I'm doing, the feedback I'm getting, touching, like, I touching myself then, like feeling, like, I don't think it's a push at all. I feel like it's quite possibly the most believable conspiracy theory. And I wouldn't be surprised if it isn't a conspiracy theory, that it actually becomes and manifests into one in the future when we do it for other people. Because it's just mental. It's mental to think.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, so if you had to say on a scale of 1 to, should we say 1 to 10 instead then? 1 to 10.
How believable it is?
10 being...
I'd say 7.
Yep, it's true. And then 1 being, that's bollocks,
7.
Mark. 7?
7, yeah. I think it's... So, at the moment, I don't believe it. But if on the...
7's pretty high though, mate.
I think it's the most believable. I think it's the most believable by far.
I reckon a 3. A 3 out of 10. But that 3 is still like a small... That means I still think there's a small chance it's possible. Like, it is possible. If I didn't believe it at all, I'd say 0, I think. But I reckon a 3.
Just going back to those airplanes thing quickly. So do you know there's a conspiracy theory that they call them cloud streams, I think. So the sort of lines of clouds you get in the sky behind airplanes, that when you look up.
I've heard of these, but I've heard them under a different name. I've been told about chemtrails, and I don't know if it's the same thing.
Chemtrails?
Yeah, it's like this. It's like the streams that come out from behind planes.
Yeah, I think we're talking about the same thing. I don't know what the word is.
I mean, what is the main theory then? Is that the government are using it to basically
influence behaviours and change the weather. So they say. I mean, it is weird. Like, I'm trying to think.
It's very weird.
I'm trying to think of a fighter jet in the sky, and when you see them fly over, you hear the noise. But do you see anything? I don't think you do. It's more like commercial airlines, right? And do you see it every time? Do you see it every time there's a plane in the sky? I don't look up enough. I don't look up in the sky enough to... I can't remember the last time I looked up, actually.
Jesus.
I mean...
Yeah, I mean, there's usually... I mean, I do distinctly remember, like, most times noticing, like, a trail behind a plane each time I've looked up.
Yeah.
Do I think the EasyJet is being used to control my mind? No. No, I don't. But is it beyond the realms of possibility? No, it is not impossible. But I don't think that's real. Whilst I'm very sceptical, and that can be my downfall sometimes, I'd like to be more open-minded. I think a lot of these people are very, very gullible.
Gullible.
And I'm not saying if you believe in ghosts or bloody simulations, if you're gullible, of course you're not. But some people, you find, if they believe in flat Earth, they believe in Illuminati. If they believe in Illuminati, they believe that the government are doing mind control with a flu jab, and they believe in all this kind of crap. Like, you tend to find if they believe heavily in one, they believe in everything. And I don't know if I don't think I believe in chemtrails. I think it's just like the excess smoke. Like, you seen this shit that comes out of the back of a car. I think how much power is controlling a plane. Like, it's flying, for God's sake. There's a man in there flying. Like, it's not beyond the realm of possibility that a bunch of shit's going to get pumped out the back of it. Can you imagine going back a few hundred years ago and someone said to you, a few years from now, you'd be flying like a bird in the sky? That's insane. You can actually fly. When you think about it, it's actually crazy. And I guess the power that goes into making man be able to fly, for me, you're going to get some kind of fumes coming out the back. Again, I don't know enough about aviation and shit. But
speaking from a non-scientific, objective point of view,
yeah.
I'd say that whilst it's interesting to believe that there's... I'm thinking of like scenarios like helicopters, planes flying at night. Maybe they are. Maybe it does do the same thing, or maybe it takes a certain amount of speed for an airplane to do it, or maybe it's like because they're not breaking the sound barrier. These airplanes, jets are, but they don't break the sound barrier. Cloud Street.
So when you say breaking the sound barrier, does that mean that
well, I mean, I'm just thinking of
they go faster than the speed of sound?
yeah.
I mean, off the top of your head, I don't expect you to know, but do you know, out of curiosity, how fast is sound?
1.5 kilowatts.
1.5 kilowatts.
I just made that up. I have no idea.
Tell you what, let's find out really quick.
Um,
Speed of sound, miles per hour. Apparently it's 767 miles per hour.
do you drop chemicals on us? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah. So you don't believe in that then?
No,
No.
I don't see the fucking point of that. Like, saying that, I don't see the point in a
Well-
lot of what the government does, to be honest. But I feel like the government's so fucking useless anyway. They can't even make a decision on healthcare at the moment, let alone poisoning the people of the country by chemtrail, whatever the fuck you call it. Like, they can't pull the fingers out their ass to make one decision. You know,
Yeah.
they can't get Brexit sorted.
know.
How are they going to poison the entire country?
I mean, again, like it's not beyond the realms of possibility for me, but I don't think that's real. So I'll probably give that a 2 out of 10.
In most cases, there's nothing to it. But I feel like I'm not going to say no to it because we all know that things have happened in the past which they've tested out on people, and there are people who believe that clones exist. That I'm not so
exist.
naive to believe that there's blacklisted projects, human tested happening on.
They've
people.
cloned sheep.
No, I mean like
They've cloned animals.
No, I mean like we all think it's animal testing. 100% there are some poor fuckers out there who have been taken or homeless people, whoever it is, and they've been tested on. 100%. Like
Without a doubt.
governments are fucked up in most ways.
Human
right?
beings are scumbags, man.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, yeah. By nature, they're absolute. It's a virus. But you know, not all of us like that. Do you really think that hair straighteners were tested on animals? Of course they weren't. You know, all these things, like all these drugs that we take, there's got to be a human trial behind it. I mean, how do you think they learned how to do heart surgery or brain surgery? You know, like they've done all these things on human beings, and it's fucked up 1,000 times before they got it right. All those poor nameless bastards taken off the street. You know, it's mental.
Completely. I mean, I definitely think it's possible that a human being can be cloned. I mean, what's the name of that sheep? Was it Dolly the sheep?
Dolly, yeah.
So they've cloned animals. I mean, if a chicken shares something like 90% DNA with a bloody Tyrannosaurus Rex, I think that they can clone a sheep. They can definitely clone a human being.
The thing is, they can generate human tissue in labs, can't they? Like organs and things. And
they can actually grow.
they've tasted burgers and shit.
Well, they've actually managed to. I remember reading in the news once. They grew a human ear on the side of on the side of a mouse to prove that they could regenerate human body parts.
Yeah.
And they had a human ear that was the tissue they managed to preserve it, and they managed to connect it to the side of a mouse, and the tissue actually connected, and the ear obviously it wasn't really working, but it was alive. It wasn't dying, basically. And they're getting to the point where they can regenerate body parts. There comes a line, doesn't there, like when we start to play God. And I think that's definitely where man is heading. Definitely.
It's a weird feeling. If you think about these things too much, you'd never do your life normal. If you walk down the street, you have to sort of take it. You either go full. I think you either go full conspiracy mad, or you just put the blinkers on and keep going.
Just looking really, really quickly, they grew this ear back on the mouse. Have a guess when that was done. So they grew a human ear on the back of a mouse.
I'm going to say a random date of 2006.
All right. Let me tell you, it was 10 years before that. 1997. How mental is that? That's 20 years ago. They managed to grow a human ear on the back of a mouse.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Mate, they can grow human parts on a fucking mouse. They can definitely clone. Like you said, sorry, without us knowing the details, because we're a pair of retards, people have been experimented on 100%. And
of course.
I think it's definitely possible that there's clones out there, without a doubt.
Maybe
Without
maybe old Boris Johnson died in hospital, and and there's a clone now in his place. The scary thing is, if you can clone through having people's DNA and people's tissue, it will get to the point where you'll be able to bring back dead loved ones. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine they found the corpse of Elvis Presley or something, and you've got a little bit of tissue from him, and all of a sudden he's back. They've cloned extinct creatures before. I don't think they've done it successfully. I know there's a case of a mountain ibex, which is like a type of goat, and it was extinct, but they have embryos of this creature, and they tried to clone it, and I think it died when it successfully was born, but I think it died after birth, and so they can definitely bring back dead things, or they're attempting to with the mammoth, things like that. Yeah, they've definitely, like you said, they've definitely tested on people, and there's probably people out there there's probably people in labs as clones sitting down like in some sort of underground place.
Jesus Christ! Right, mate. Really quickly, I'm looking at a list, right? And this is a list of every single animal that humans have managed to successfully clone, right? Over the years. Listen to this. So humans have successfully managed to clone a camel, koi carp, cat, coyote, cattle, deer, dog, frog, fruit flies, goats, horse, mice, monkeys. The 2 breeds of monkey they managed to clone. A mouflon, a mule, pig, an ibex, like you've said.
Yeah.
Rabbit, brown rat, sheep, Arctic wolf. Over 20 different animals. How insane. I've cloned a fucking camel.
Did it live?
So that's so Injaz, a cloned female camel, was born in 2009 in Dubai after a gestation period of 378 days.
How the fuck is that possible? Making life from nothing.
That's the thing. Like there comes a point where you're playing God, isn't it?
They've definitely done a human being.
Yeah,
They've 100% cloned a human being.
It's insane, mate. It makes me feel crazy. There you go. So Injaz was created from the ovarian cells of an adult camel slaughtered for its meat in 2005. The cells were grown in tissue culture and then frozen in liquid nitrogen. This is crazy. 20 days after injecting the eggs, pregnancy was confirmed using ultrasound. After its birth, its DNA was tested and confirmed to be identical copies of the DNA in the original meat and ovarian cells, proving that Injaz is a clone of the original animal. Jesus, man. Like you said, something you mentioned a minute ago, they're getting to the point, where they're starting to look into making fake meat, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, how do you feel about that?
Lab-made meat with no animal.
Lab-made meat. Can it be good for you? Can that be good for you, really? So I think the main thinking behind that is that eventually, like, we're going to run out of land and run out of animals the way we're expanding. So that's saying if we've run out of animals, that's going to be a source for food. But then
maybe for poorer countries when they can't get real meat. I don't know. It's like weird, isn't it? I mean, lab created steak, lab created roast turkey, lab created. I mean, crops and things will never be replaced. It'd be meat based, wouldn't it? It'd be animals. This whole thing's so fucking bad. Like, I don't know whether it's even worth. Is this because human beings just want to try everything out? I don't know. Like these projects, it's probably the very surface of what's really going on. There's probably a lot darker things that are being tried out. Like, it's a scary thought actually, to think that we can live our day-to-day lives while meanwhile things are going on below ground. It is literally experiments.
Just reading here really quick. So that Injaz camel, so when she was 6, she actually got pregnant and gave birth as well.
So the clone gave birth?
Yeah, and they said it's evidence that clones are actually able to produce normally and they can be fertile if they're cloned successfully. And that this is a news article from 5 years ago. If you worry about it all too much, you'll go crazy.
Yeah, you will. You will.
That's the thing. I mean, the amount of times, we've had a couple of drinks and whatever, and we sat there and we started talking about God and stuff, and it's just, If you think about that shit too much, you will go insane.
Yeah.
Because if you spend your whole life worrying, you're never going to enjoy it.
Well, that's the thing. Like you've got to sort of just push through, and I don't know. I honestly don't know what to say. I mean, a lot of it's just mind-boggling. I don't know. So part of me thinks it's a benefit to creatures that were extinct and have been killed off by human beings. In that respect, fantastic. Of course. What I find with human beings as well, they don't know when to stop.
This is it. It's like, correct me if I'm wrong, everyone wants to live forever. Like most people, if you could be healthy and happy, everyone wants to live forever, don't they?
Yeah.
You go back and look at the stats. People are living way longer now than we ever used to. Like the human body. So the scientists reckon the human body is only supposed to live up until around 40. And you go back in the past, like a few hundred years, and people were dying when they were, 40, 50 years old. And if that's because of war or disease or whatever, it doesn't, it's different. But so I think people naturally want to live as long as they can, and people are living longer and longer and longer, and we're coming up with all these new ways, and we're discovering all these new things. But there's going to become a point where we can only push however we live in, and good genes. We can only push that so far, and there'll come a point where they start, like you said, bloody resurrecting the dead, because humans want to play God so much, and that's worrying, mate. That's a scary thought.
If someone offered you money to clone, would you do it?
What? So it's to make a clone of myself?
Yeah.
So if they said we'll give you £1 million or whatever if we can make a clone of you.
They say we'll sort you out for life, so you get £1 million every month for the rest of your life, but we want your DNA to start cloning. But we want to clone you.
£1 million a month.
£1 million a month just say you'll be sorted for the rest of your life. You'll never be financially dependent, but we want to use your DNA to clone.
I mean, £1 million a month, yeah.
And we want to use your DNA to clone and to test on it.
Yeah, because I'm a greedy bastard, and I could do.
Even though someone like you, so basically you exactly as a clone is getting tested on, tortured on. So you've created life, you've allowed scientists to create life, and a version of you is now being tortured, tested on, organs extracted.
Jesus Christ! I thought you meant they were just going to copy me, and that's the end of it.
Oh, they will, but they'll be doing all sorts with you, like for experiments. But you've paid for it. But don't worry, you're all right, don't you? Would you let that do it?
I don't know, mate. If you offer me $1 million a month, mate, I'm tempted. So I'm not gonna lie. And this just goes to show what we're talking about: human nature. I would like to
think
say,
of little naked you in a cell underground.
This morning when I woke up,
and the only reason he exists is because you said yes on a sheet of paper for payment.
I would like to say, mate, I'd like to think I'm a good person, so I would like to say that I would say no. However, if I was confronted with that cash, I can't give you an answer on that. I think I would struggle. I'd like to say no, I wouldn't do it.
Have you seen?
I find $1 million a month very hard to turn down.
I'll be honest, mate. The film called The Island.
Yeah.
So basically, people pay millions of dollars or pounds, whatever it is, whatever currency, to create a clone of themselves, so that if they get hurt in the real world, they can get organs transplanted from their clone into themselves.
Mm.
That's what you are, mate.
But don't worry.
So you'd create a human being to be tortured, cut up, tested on, but you're all right.
I would like to say no, mate. I would like to say I wouldn't do that. To be honest, I don't necessarily agree with cloning, but
help me.
Do you know what?
Help me.
No, I'm happy, mate. Do you know what? I don't. Now I think about it, I don't think I could do that. Honestly, mate. All jokes aside, I don't think I could do that. It'd be hard to turn down that kind of money, but I don't think I could do that. Just because I'm a very compassionate person. Like I'm a dick, I know, but I'm very compassionate, and the concept of someone else that's me going through that.
What if they said?
Is horrible.
Just to give you peace of mind, we're going to send you a card from him every month to say Sam's.
What is this? A dog's trust?
Sam's doing well in the lab. Don't worry about him.
Talking of dog's trust, really quick though. At one point I had 2 dogs, and one of these dogs died. Like I got, I used to get a letter once a month.
I thought you meant as a
from
pet.
this. No, well, they say basically, so you can go and actually visit the dogs as well. You can't visit. There's some you can visit and some you can't. But I had this little cute dog called Patch that I was sponsoring, and so every month I'd get like a bunch of photos, and then someone would write a letter to me from him, but like tell me what he's been up to and stuff. It's pretty bollocks, but anyway, I got a letter.
Bollocks.
So I got a letter one month, and it was like, "Oh, I wonder what Patch is up to." Yeah, and they sent me photos of him and stuff, and it was literally a letter saying, "I regret to inform you that he's died." And I was just like,
Patch got eaten.
I was like, "Fuck, that's horrible." And then they were like, "But don't worry, we've chosen a new dog for you, and we're continuing your subscription." And I was like, "Hold on a minute here,
Fucking
I was sponsoring Patch. Don't just move the money onto someone else. Cancel it, you bastards." But
What scumbag company is that?
yeah, I know. I got some image of like me being forced to write this letter, crying. There's some guard beating me. Write it.
We regret to inform you that Patch was chopped up by a combine harvester.
Jesus Christ.
I think
I
that's a
couldn't.
load of bollocks.
Yeah, it is.
Patch didn't even exist.
There
Patch.
was some you go and visit.
They could have used a more realistic name. I mean, it's like
Spot the
Dogs
dog.
Trust. You're a bunch of cunts. I'll tell you now, because you can tell them.
Jesus Christ.
Because you can tell they've just made some generic name, some poor bastard sympathy vote.
Me.
Poor dog, right? But yeah, they're like, Pat, like he died 2 years ago, mate. There's about 6 million people in the UK with the same Patch as a dog.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. I was a right sucker for that. At one point, this is true. At one point, I had
17 dogs.
6 or 7 direct debits for different charities. Like it was that bad, and it was getting to the point. It was like 70 quid a month, and I had to look back, and I was like, do you know what am I doing? And I cancelled them all eventually. But I had children in Africa. I had rescue dogs, not rescue dogs. What are they called? Guide dogs. Sorry, guide dogs. Children in Africa. I had 2 dogs at a dog trust. I had the Cats Trust. I had the Bird Sanctuary.
What the fuck?
No, seriously, I did. Because they'd approach me and give me some sub story, and I was a mug. Do you remember?
It's like Jehovah's Witnesses.
Do you remember during the Grenfell Tower?
Yeah.
Like, when that happened? Do you remember we were playing a home game? We were playing a poker game, and I knock at the door.
From the Grenfell Tower.
Yeah, I got convinced to sign up to that one whilst we were playing poker. Because Aaron was like, do you remember? Because Aaron was like, shut the door on him.
Again, no disrespect to the victims of Grenfell Tower, but it's the government's fucking responsibility for this sort of thing, for responsible cladding. Those people who probably have those lanyards, I can get them from Poundland and pretend I'm a charity myself.
There's a lot of fakers out there as well, and I think a lot of them are on commission. They've proved a lot of these people are on not the Grenfell Tower, but a lot of people in general that do this charity thing. The majority are actually on commission, so they're getting paid. They ain't doing it for free.
Charities, I mean, don't get me wrong, there probably are some legitimate charities, but when you hear about bosses of these charities getting bigger bonuses, who the fuck's paying for that? It's me. And my guilt.
Me and my 7 direct debits.
Yeah. So don't come to me.
I had to toughen up a bit, to be honest.
Yeah.
Get rid of some of them.
Like I've become a real, not nasty person, but if someone comes to me and says, "Look, we need some money for," do not come to my door because.
But this is it. I've started to say no.
Yeah,
now,
don't
which
waste
is
my
good. I'm
money.
glad. But it took me.
If they said to me, "Look, okay, so I'll pay £1. Where's my £1 going, and where's it going to be spent? I want to know where it's being spent. Do you know? You don't know, mate, do you? No, of course you don't.
It's paying you.
You just want me to give you money so you can write down the list. At the end of the day, and it's a horrible thing to say, but you got to look after yourself sometimes. I mean, I'm a charity case. I need money. Christ, help me out.
Completely, mate. That's why I'm taking that money and my clone's getting screwed over in the lab. All right, how about you then? Same question back to you then. Would you take that money?
Yes.
You would?
I'd take the money.
You make me feel guilty, you bastard.
I'd take the money. God, actually. A clone
What
of
would
myself.
you do if then... Oh, here's a scenario. So this clone of yourself, after 20 years of being tortured, one day you get a knock at your door and it's him. He's coming here to murder you and your family because he wants revenge.
So he comes to knock at my door, Tom Quinn,
No, I'm just.
and he's after
He blames you
revenge
for everything.
for
He's been training non-stop for the last 20 years for this day. Like,
I don't
this
know.
version of Tom Quinn's like a full-on ninja. Would you allow the government to clone you in the first place? Then?
No. Well, I don't know. I mean, what's it for? Do they want my?
You're getting £1 million a week.
Do they want my manky feet or anything like that?
No, they just want a. They just want a human. They want a random human subject so they can.
Clone in a lab.
They can clone in the lab, and you happen to get approached just randomly off the list. They say we'll give you £1 million a month. Don't worry about what's going to happen to him.
I don't think I'll be picked as a subject.
It's not your problem.
I don't think I'll be picked as a subject.
In this scenario, mate, you are.
They'll be like, look, we're looking for someone with male pattern baldness, fucked up feet, and a small knob. Right, here he is. Oh, I'm joking, but I am bald. But no,
And you got a small knob.
average actually. No, I'm joking. No. Would I get paid for it? The human being in me is like, take the money, and the kind soul is like, do you know what? Just adopt him. But would I take the money whilst the clone of me is getting tortured? Probably not. If someone said to me up front, we're going to kill you as a clone for organs and test him, probably not. It's a human being, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not. That's the thing, mate. It's not any old human being. It's you, though, as well.
That's what I'm saying. It's you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine trying to fight yourself on Soul Calibur. It's like, I'm fighting against a computer here. He knows all my moves. It's like, I am you. But he won't know he's a clone, will he, as well? He'll think he's me. And then one day we'll sit next to it. We'll take a picture together and be like, which one's... I don't know. Is that me? Is that you?
He's going to have one eye and 2 fingers and...
Much better feet condition.
1 lung. Yeah, I mean, his feet are going to be fine, but he's only going to have 1 kidney, 1 lung.
In all seriousness, that's definitely happened. There's a clone of someone who exists in the world.
Definitely possible, mate.
There's probably a version of you that's successful. I'm
yeah, there's a version of me. Yeah. There's a version of me that's not a complete loser.
Very joking.
Right, okay, so for the last one then, so the believability then of cloning, human cloning, how believable do you think it is?
100%.
10 out of 10, yeah?
10 out of 10. Cloning, they're doing it now. They've done it on a human being, they just haven't said anything because of like the humanity behind it. But people have done it. People are doing it all the time.
I think I'm going to join you on a 10 for the first time. We're going to see eye to eye. I'm going to join you on a 10 out of 10 on that.
10 out of 10, yeah.
Mate, if they grew a bloody human ear on the back of a rat 20 years ago, like they definitely clone a human being, and like you say, it's definitely been done, and there's some poor soul out there.
So human ear on the back of a mouse, right? What's the weirdest thing they can combine? Like a human cock on an owl.
Oh, God.
I'm trying to think of the weirdest combination. Be like an ostrich with a human head.
Oh, God, that'd be horrible.
Fucking hell, imagine
That'd
that.
be absolutely horrible.
Oh, imagine that.
Like an elephant's body with the head of a pigeon and the feet, and then like the feet of like...
It would die straight away.
Like a snail. The legs of a snail, but the body of an elephant. But it's all in proportion, but it's like a giant... It's like a big fucked up griffin.
Maybe like a tiger with human arse. I'm trying to think of like what's the weirdest thing I'd see. It's something to do with the ball bag, the ball sack on the back of a... I don't know, but they've definitely tried it. Whatever we come up with, they've definitely tried it. Well, conspiracy theories. Yeah.
Conspiracy theories 101.
Simulations, cloning, jet/cloud/chemtrails. whatever one we've got right there. Maybe none of them. Maybe all of them.
And cloning.
And cloning, yeah. What would you do if you were given £1 million a week or month for the rest of your life? Would you clone yourself to be tortured? Let us know in the comments. And yeah,
Right in.
All right, yeah, right.
Also, we'll spit it out, Sam. We want to hear the most mucked up animals you can think of as well, like the strangest animal combinations that you can think of. Right in.
So yeah, thanks for listening. Season 2, episode 2, and follow us on Spotify and Instagram, and subscribe to us on YouTube. Next week, we are either looking at Aliens or Gods and Myths and Legends.
Look forward to it. See you then.